Fresh Lemon. Peter, thank you for the membership. I wonder if there was a key in that, what the? Okay. That's true, Unhappy Mess is very happy. Despite the name, Unhappy Mess. Unhappy Mess is the happiest mess I've ever known. Unhappy Mess that makes me pretty happy. What's this? Damn, this card's on this giving. It's not a good one. Right? Which one we got? Back here, whatever, you know? This part sucks. So lame, dude. It's like the thing. Actually catch it, otherwise it goes back. Stuck. Holy Johan. The madness continues. Okay, so hit this, grab it.
Slice and dice! Slice and dice!
Oh!
Come here!
Ah! Ah! Ugh!
That was a crazy section. It's really cool. I like it a lot. Johan running down 10 memberships as well. Johan, thank you so much. Thank you, Johan. Holy crap, some memberships everywhere.
God damn it!
Seconds.
Oh! Oh!
I'm gonna fuck it all!
Yeah!
Red Trash, $1 donation. Yay, $2 donation. Awesome. Oh, thank you all very much for that. I'll keep reading if possible. Like, people are not too liberal as possible these days. Hey guys, this is impossible. I mean, it sucks. You got those two words mixed up. Hey. Much possible. Yes, thank you for the likes, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you want to go, we have cleared 9 already. We're on a rampage. We're not last enough longer right now. It's pretty good. Move down to the chapter. Anything. So bored. So slow. Oh, look at that extra right here, I guess. Okay. Well, that was alarming. We got a mushroom coming up.
For your own safety, do not disturb or observe NCPD officers performing their official duties.
Well, I'm alive. Sometimes you got safe and you can get. Oh, checkpoint. Thank you. You know, I don't mind this level concept. It's kind of cool. Oh, my nose itches. Oh God.
Got another dry, sun-filled week coming your way, Night City. But soak in that sun while you can. The cold front moving in.
All right.
Prepare for cooler
That's how it's gonna be.
as we head into the weekend.
See how it is. You can play at this game, sir. I feel like you could have skipped like that entire level just by falling straight down. Bro! No way! Hell yeah. You chose wisely with the tail. Look at that, 23.
Today, we're taking a look at all 5 gigs in the bustling heartland of Night City to determine what hidden secrets and references lie beneath the surface. The city centre is rife with corporate conspiracies, shady deals, and outright terrible people. And believe me, tunes, some of these really do stretch into mini quest lines in and of themselves. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. The gigs of Dino and what they want. Dino's first gig for us is called A Look of Empathy, a sabotage mission which takes place within the Empathy Club, a place we'll actually come to as Johnny during his mental night out inhabiting Lee's body. Now, this place was co-founded by 2 guys named Adam Ibrahimovic and Larry Fanghorn. The 2 ran the club in perfect harmony, it seems, until one day Adam decided to seize full control, kicking Larry out, changing the access codes, and hiring the animals for security. So Larry did the one thing which appeared to get the desired results in Night City, and contact the fixer, Dino, not Dino. I think somebody told me off for calling him Dino before, so I'm here. Dino then has a plan. Hack into the club systems, bring Biz to a total standstill until Adam cuts Larry back into the fold. Of course, given the nature of all systems in 2077 operating on their own isolated subnets, that's where we come in to infiltrate the club and infect it with a bomb. Demon, there's also a purpose for doing this stealthily, which is worth it for the extra challenge, though the bonus itself is rather tricky. The most obvious way of doing this is to come from the front entrance, where claiming that the club is temple and brothel.
Hey, no pushing. There's enough for everyone. I'd also
Do I spy?
To deposit all of our weapons, which for non-net runners, that may prove a problem, though engaging in stealth is the only way to complete this mission fully successfully anyway. But there's a far more straightforward couple ways in than this. Come around the block to the back of the club, and we'll be able to enter via the fire escape without depositing our weapons. Or, if you literally want to circumvent all challenge for this gig, jump to the upper fire escape and enter via the server room directly. Upload the virus and leave back the way you came. If you're quick, you can get it done before the one guy in here even finishes his phone call. However, doing it this way, you'll miss out on a few bonuses littered about the rest of the club, including, as usual, some wider context to the situation. On this terminal, behind where we deposit our weapons, we can read that Adam has actually been receiving threats from Dino on Larry's behalf, and
Happy new gun owner,
is actually running shit scared. He's posted extra guards monitoring for specific activity, and has even been tipped that Dino recently purchased a black market demon. That'll be one system. That could be another terminal. Well, imagine the entire conversation. Turned out Dino agreed to help carry out on the basis that he received 10% of the country throwing his own customers slot and implementing stream. Yeah, however, I think another email between him and Adam involving Dino demanding Eddie from him with 3 days to pay up. My guess is that Dino went to whichever of the two would next. I can think of few fixers that wouldn't do the same. Elsewhere of note around the club is the Animal's head of security, extremely hungover and who can be taken out secretly when he goes into the bathroom to sober up. But be careful how you do this one, since it can trigger the entire club to go back.
Synthetic meat, you're in for a treat. Try ours today.
Don't make trouble. Be trouble. There's this
Yo, Mr. Whitey here. Drop that milk kibble and run to the nearest store for a taste of sweet, clean speed. Cause life is too short to be slow.
Now, they insisted back then that they purely edit XPDs, receiving them from dead drops and never having any contact with who makes them. A fact which, in their eyes, apparently makes what they're doing more okay. This, in and of itself, though, is a lie, as evidenced by the fact that they're requesting more XPDs from certain stars under Adam's employ, even offering aids to make them power through whatever screwed up shit these poor guys are subjected to. Clearly, Godfred and Frederick have far more stake in this awful industry than they made out, and really are pure evil. What's more, it's clear that this unsavory Adam character is also mixed up with that industry. The fact that Dino was prepared to have him keep running the club for the right price, well, so he didn't sit with everybody, but strapped out the ecosystem to
Okay, you were saying...
There you are. Man of the hour. Sheesh. Took you long enough. Worked up an appetite, just waiting. Sit down, let me finish this. Then we can drop in on Senor Vector.
Mentioned something about a surprise yesterday. Am I remembering right, or just had a brain fart?
Probably both, because you usually forget shit. But it just so happens, I think I might have bagged us a sweet-ass J.O.B.
Go on.
I mean, maybe it's not as big as that, but... just that it's fronted by a little-known someone named Dexter Deshawn. Only the top fixer in Night fucking City. Fat-ass black Jesus of the afterlife. 300 pounds of partly gold-plated cool.
Dexter Deshawn? What's the latest spec on him? I know you got info to spill.
He's been off the grid for about 2 years. Word on the street was he took a little vacay.
2 years? That's exile, not a vacation. What was he up to?
Guessing he shoved pizzas in his mouth while jerking off to hardcore virtues. Important thing is he's back. Needs a fresh crew, and he found us.
How'd you manage to pull this? Trade in your spleen or something? As far as I know, we're not the type to get fingered by Dex.
You, me? Oh, but T-Bug, she's the one that hooked us up. Got us talking. Knew it was a done deal the moment he laid eyes on me. 'Cause come on, ain't nobody who can resist this. Am I right?
Sure, Jack. Whatever you say. So what's the gig? We meant to come out in one piece?
Our Lord and Savior wants to tell you everything himself, face to face. Oh, no pressure, but his whole deal, he's riding on you now, is he?
Why do I gotta go? You and T-Bug draw straws without me?
T-Bug and Dex go way back, and my face is yesterday's news. Oh, Dex says he needs to check you, talk to you. Look, V, it's his job, his rules. I can't blame him for taking a personal approach. And it ain't as bad as you think, okay? Trust me.
Guess I got no choice then.
Dex is a real deal when it comes to fixers. Don't get me wrong. Don't got nothing against the Padre or Wakako, but Dex is in a league of his own.
Welcome back to another video exploring the hidden secrets.
Don't get me started on the fixers. They catch a client, find the cheapest gong to do the job, then drop their corpse at a landfill.
Hit the nail on the head.
It's a prime example of the huge breadth of range which Cyberpunk 2077 has to offer. Districts in Night City may vary,
Watch your wheels.
gangs operate where,
Gave
but
them to my
as
guy
it
yesterday to
is,
smooth over the
sometimes
dents
fear
after our
stepped into a
dust
whole
up with
different
scabs.
game. Sure, much of it may be just empty and barren, but it's still one of my favourite regions of the Cyberpunk world in its feel alone. And some of the gigs on offer here really are fun and connect with a lot of other elements back in Night City. So, without further ado, let's dive straight in to exploring all
Thanks,
9
Jack.
gigs of
Much
the
appreciated.
Badlands. The gig's flying drugs takes place in a train station similar to the With a Little Help from My Friends Al Mikado mission. Difference being that this one is inhabited by wraiths. Now, as far as gameplay is concerned, there are a grand total of 68 gig quests.
Some top-notch work Miguel did. Rides like it looks. Factory new.
We'll see about that.
So we rolling or what?
Let's feel this factory new ride.
In this video, we're going to be covering all the 9 gigs from the Westbrook district, most of which are issued by Macaca, our fixer next from Jig Street, and I'm going to be running through them in the general order that they're unlocked.
First stop,
It just makes the most sense
Ripper Duck
from the narrative
and
standpoint.
Holmes. Easy on the gas, huh?
Supporters who
I
keep the
just
channel
ate.
alive, especially during times where I lose my voice and literally can't.
I was supposed to stop by Vic's anyhow. I got a
And
date.
now it's time to dive into the hidden secrets and
You don't
details
say.
of all Westbrook's
She's
gigs.
so sweet.
Starting
Really
off, it
gets
takes
me, you
someone
know.
very brave or very foolish to steal money from the target pools, and for the Netrunner Vortex, well, that's exactly what she's been doing. In a casino situated under the sewers bordering Westbrook and Arroyo, Vortex has been quietly siphoning funds onto her own friendship. Right before she's about to get out with her cash, though, she's caught, interrogated, and not surviving the interrogation, is discarded in the sewers.
Yeah, this is it.
But those who
Come on,
find
V.
friendship for Kako, then
Find
I
me once
recommend
Vic's done
entering
dusting
via the
your
second sewer tunnel.
Hash
There's
out
our
what
high
you're
tech check, but we can bypass that with a simple hack. Coming up here and dealing with just a couple of target pools, you'll wind up like where we need to be for the office. Only where this highly secretive friendship will be hiding. Must be pretty
Do
well
you
stashed away.
truly
It's like the
believe
door's not
that
too
those who
bad
have
yet.
sold you
Okay,
your
it's
mechanical
hiding
eyes
both
have
sides
resisted the
right here
temptation
and
to
yes.
peek
Well
through
done,
them?
and that was simple. Now at this point, we can just make our way out hopefully. Let's try and learn the code time first. So, under this code, we can learn that Vortex was literally on the cusp of leaving this casino forever with her girlfriend Livy. Though too bad flicking over the
Livy.
files, we can see exactly
Dr.
how
Vector
the
will see
target
you
force
now.
managed to figure out
I'll
with
sit tight
Vortex
over here.
stealing funds.
Me and Misty
Even
got a
though
little
from
catching up to
January
do.
June, the amount Vortex took in that time seems extremely negligible compared to the total. Even added up over years, I can't imagine it would amount to much. Still, Night City is a merciless place. You can also, with the right dialogue, ask the bartender exactly what he wanted of Vortex. He says this.
This Vortex you kept so much for, she cheated them, okay?
So they threw her body.
Malone drops his guard.
Same spot the kitchen dumps used for
really
Vicky, surprise ever, you old ripper. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, V. Oh, wow. What do I owe the pleasure today?
Last gig. Had to jack into a client's neurosocket. Think I might have gotten spiked.
Experiencing migraines, nausea, hypersensitivity to bright lights?
Whole kit and caboodle.
All right, kid. We'll sort you out in a flash. Besides that, how are things?
Met a new fixer. He gave me a job. Name's Dexter DeShawn.
Known quantity from the afterlife. No denying you're moving up.
But something you're not telling me, Vicky?
Keep your guard up, that's all. I've heard some things about Dex. He's not as chill as he makes himself out to be.
Need some new kit, but tools, not toys, Vic. Time I bumped up my sights and got a grip.
Really? Now? Finally?
Vic, shit's getting real. Got a job from Dex to Sean, hitting major leagues. Need tech that can perform.
The Dexter DeShawn? Well, that is something. But let me guess. Hasn't paid you yet.
Now, they've kidnapped his wife and are using her as leverage to force him to cooperate. As usual, we can blitz in through the front gates, and as usual, I'm going to deem it more interesting to take the stealth
Gonna
routes
keep me
over
waiting
barrier
all
access.
day?
Now,
Quit
this gives
crying,
them a
Vic.
few interesting finds as it goes. The
Lad.
place they're holding Bradley's wife Lauren is, in actual fact, a katana manufacturing plant. So now you know where a lot of those
Chair,
katanas that
please.
enemies are using
Sit down,
are actually
relax.
made. Of notes to be found here is one of the many communications from Jatara Shoba, the awful Tiger Claw boss who was sent to kill during the Monster Hunt gig in Kabuki. As though this guy wasn't already screwed up enough,
Kuroshi
they're
Optics.
requesting
Best
a
I've got,
custom-made
and
item
should be
that's
about right
somewhere
under the
between Katana
circumstances.
and Sir John Fallis. Well, I guess it's true what Woodman said back at Clamps. Some fetishes really
Now jack
are
in.
unheard of. We can also find the full catalogue of katanas they have on sale in a
Kuroshi.
file near the
Whoa.
terminal. The
Vic,
heavens of
nothing
one
tops that on the
sounds
market.
especially interesting. Said to be
Sounds like it
enchanted
could
with the
come in
souls of
handy
lesser
then.
demons known as
Gave you my
sellers.
word I'd
Well,
pay you
funnily
back,
enough,
but
down in the
this
cellar are some workers
might be too rich for my blood.
clients. Perhaps they're the
We'll
ones
work
who
something
no
out.
matter.
Right
One
now,
of the
I'm
final
just out to make sure you get back in one piece. Eddie's in hand.
Been trapped here for 30 whole days, refusing to eat for most of them.
You
Well,
peruse and
things
choose
are
while I
good,
scan.
because
And see
I've
what's
just
going
about
on
had enough of
inside.
here with carrying people out of enemy territory. Escaping the base, then we tell Lauren to contact her family and tell them to also lay low. Her husband Brad really has caused a lot of trouble. No matter, hopefully Lauren should be safe now, thanks to B. Overall, this one is a somewhat interesting setting with nice katana-related details, but otherwise it's pretty basic and run-of-the-mill. I'm going to call this a C-tier gig. Next up, Olive Branch is a gig which I found to be utterly hilarious. It also took me a little while longer to film than most due to a number of different options and very obscure secrets that can be found within it. The premise of this one is that this guy, Sergey, has done more than a few things to piss off the Tiger Claws. So, he wants us to deliver this car as a peace offering to them. He's pretty confident that he's in the home stretch now, and with this final act, he'll be in the clear. So, pretty straightforward, huh? Hop in the car and drive it to the destination. Except, as we're heading there, we begin to hear strange noises coming from the boots, and inside is none other than a man named Alex Pushkin, a corpo who works for Biotechnica. Okay, I gotta say, I love this option the most. We literally find a random man in the boot of our car begging for help, and without saying a word, just shove him back in. If we do it this way, hand him over as per the gig, then Sergey will be free. We'll get paid almost 3k, and we can find Alex's body dumped in the sewers a while after, holding a data shard containing his cries for help. It's the same location, in fact, but we find a body which may or may not be tied to the Tiger Vulture gig. If we let Alex go, though, then funnily enough, we won't fail the gig. Alex will pay Wakako even more, being a corpo, will receive double the amount of money, and it's Sergey's body which can instead be found. This time in a small building out the back of the big Twister Club right by the Delamain HQ. He's holding a shard relaying his attempt to reason with the Tiger Claws, swearing that Alex was in fact in the boot of the car. And the Tiger Claws, not taking him at his word, decided to murder him to death. And I gotta say, I don't have tons of sympathy for the guy. He seemed funny, yes, but he was also a scav by the looks of things. And we know from encounters with those guys that they're literally the scum of the earth. So
Mark 1, like I said. Decent enough scanner. Displays data on your cornea. Cherry on the top's a built-in external lens disruptor. In layman's terms, any surveillance cam will capture your face as a blur. Just remember, your body will still show up as crystal clear.
First, you'll have to complete the guinea pigs gig before
This should do the trick.
Talks
to Kuroshi Tech, too.
We infiltrate the massive hotel and take out Joanne Coke from Biotechnica.
I'm ready. Carve away.
As a nomad,
Excellent. Let's do
at
this.
some point during the mission, which is very important for no apparent reason. We can
Play that major league arm of yours right here.
Turns out, Alex worked with Joanne on the same project for Biotechnica that we had to kill Joanne.
I used to live in a world where all that mattered was who's who, what's what, and how's why. One day I just dropped it and never looked back. I'll never be a legend in this town. I've been sleeping nights ever since. Just like that. Thanks. Now, a bit of anesthetic and I can start cutting.
How many from Red Oak could die?
Feel anything?
Same as always. Don't feel a thing. You ask me that every time, you know? Not as if things are gonna be any different today.
Sure
Sure thing, kid. I mean, not like there's any risk of a stroke or paralysis, but what do I know? I'm just a doctor. That's what I thought. Lights out for a minute, all right? Okay, let's test this. See the magic in action. Linking you in. You might feel a little discomfort at first. Blurred vision, low contrast, glitches.
No, wait, the apartment block where we can rent the Japan-bound apartments. And you know what? Going ahead and doing that right off the bat should hopefully stop people asking questions.
Well, how's it look? Feel all right to you?
We're here because Wakako wanted a device known as the
Seen more dramatic improvements before.
Patience, kid. Give it a minute.
I mean, Arasaka, don't find out about this, else it's a lifetime of repayments just to make a
Time for the scanner.
The girl in possession of said tech, Lee Gladden, was on the cusp
It
of selling
might take you a few seconds to adjust. First time's rarely the charm, with anything, really. Scanner should eventually sync with your thought processes and read your intentions.
Everything looks perfectly normal from the outset.
I also injected an NCPD file search. Run into any ne'er-do-wells? You know exactly what they ne'er did well.
Under any circumstances. So, look, a secret room behind the vending machine.
It ought to work like a charm. Now draw your weapon. You should see your ammo count in a brand new sight.
Have 3 times the amounts of any other buyer. Well, you know what they say, greed never pays. So, heading to the club of Canadamon and taking out the various tiger claws inhabiting this very...
How about the neurovirus from the last job? Can you check it?
Done and gone while we were putting in your implant. And a full sweep on your soft and circuits. Zap the critter. You're certified bug-free.
Shit, Victor, not bad.
Say you'll take this and remember the dosage. 2 whiffs now.
Sadly, Leah had to lose her life, and now
What am I-
so do the rest
A
of
mild
the
stim.
rest.
Should boost neurotransmission in the short term and muffle some of the side effects while the implant takes.
She may have been naive, yes, but no way did she deserve this. Now, I'm pretty sure she's dead, so...
Thanks again, Vic. You're the best. I owe you.
I'm just gonna leave her in the car.
Go on, kid. Show 'em what you're made
Let's
of.
take her out again,
And once you hit the big leagues, don't forget where you came
She
from.
must be alive and somehow escaped when I wasn't looking. Literally, that's the only canonical explanation for this. And no, I'm not going to consider other options. Get closed. In all seriousness, though, this one ain't
Who's
exactly
winning?
the most riveting gig.
Hernandez.
Sure, there's
You know, in the old
interesting
days,
story
that
behind
cripple
it.
Malone would have been flat on the
Interactions are
boards.
limited. I do kind of wish
Now
the
every
action
last-
had returned to his body somewhere. Since picking her up in wars and action, that would be cool. Overall, I'm sorry to
Finally
see
scrounged up enough eddies to pay you back in full.
Strap in and get ready
Hold on
to
to
break
him,
into one of the
Not
nicest
taking them.
apartments in the whole
And
game.
thanks
That
again
one
for
is
doing so much work
until
on me
death
without
was
it.
part. It's set
That's
inside
what-
a place which, according to a woman outside, costs 400K.
I was thinking about swapping some
To put
chrome.
that into perspective,
You got any
the
new
corporate
toys?
garden apartment that we can
Have a
rent,
look.
which is much, much smaller, costs a mere €55,000. case. So Emilio and Nina Gutierrez are an ex-couple going through a messy divorce. Nina has taken everything from Emilio, including his car and penthouse, the latter of which contains his depository receipts. Without them, Emilio has nothing to live on. So it's our task to break into this beautiful apartment, doing our best to keep things hush-hush and grab all the things. Interesting for such an expensive place that there's no elevator security, but I guess that's working.
We're thinking about swapping some chrome.
We can enter
Got
four
any
different ways.
Have a look.
Which has a tech check, the side window with a strength check, the roof with a bigger strength check, or for those with neither of those skills, hopping across to the rear balcony. On site are 2 drones, one patrolling this area and one upstairs. Now, I found Short Circuit had bugger all effect on them, so we're merely going to have to be stealthy for now. Be careful not to cross these blue lines in the doorways, else you'll trigger the alarm, summon the robot and the drones, and fail. Then, if this little gap... Make your way upstairs and disable any cameras stealthily as you do until you reach this back office. Here's where to find Emilio's receipts, but don't skip on accessing the terminal. Well,
How's
here
good?
you can read out just how far Nina was
Good thing you got Misty.
Yeah.
Life.
You know
She
what?
gets alimony payments.
You get to a certain age, you drop all your
and pretends to have a made-up illness in order to secure them. I don't specifically know what Emilio did, but I'm really starting to not like the sound of Nina. Heading into the local network, hitting the emergency reset button will disable all security features, making it way easier to explore this awesome apartment undisturbed. And that's something you want to do because it's literally got a live fireplace. I mean, you know you're fancy, but you have something that all peasants from the Middle Ages also had.
I
There's
can
also a
release it
second
for
terminal
you,
in the
but you
bedroom
have to
where
watch
Nina
out for
has sent
negative energy
incriminating evidence
fields
on
and
her
avoid
husband
mean
over to
reds.
V, yo, listen up. I talked to Dex while you were in with the doc. He's waiting in his ride. For you. Ain't but a hop to where he's parked. Next to Gramsci Burgers.
Okay, do my best to talk us up.
So to help fix that, in this video, what I want to do is show you some of the secret quests and secret quest interactions in the game.
V, listen, I've got this delicate matter. That's why I called you. The number of cyber-psycho attacks in the city is on the rise. Now, that's probably not news to you, but this issue matters to me for a few reasons. There are people who say cyber-psychosis can be treated.
Right.
And I know exactly how that sounds, but I believe even an unproven therapy bullet to the brain. If I maybe you can investigate before Max Tank hits the scene. But remember, you're not there to execute anybody. Try to incapacitate the attacker, and I'll send someone to pick him up. I hope that's all clear.
30 minutes or less. I park there because I absolutely suck at it. The fact that they can deliver this to my door and I can make a pretty looking meal is genuinely quite impressive. And HelloFresh is really the best of both worlds. It helps save time that we're trying to figure out what's for dinner, but also save money because I'm not eating out nearly as much. And this never gets boring. HelloFresh has meals to choose from. They can take it over 30 recipes and 70 items that can be delivered right to your door. And HelloFresh has meal choices that will help you see your goal. Things like veg, pescatarian, my personal favorite, and wholesome meals. You don't need to use my link because HelloFresh.com and use code CONS November 2nd for 70% off of and your first box. Check this out. This requested highlight is a throwback to one day. Those questions are from 2077. What I personally missed. Trigger this quest, but you have to do this downtown area of Night City. First time you walk into the store, it's right here, just like any other clothing store in Night City. Shop the floor, shop around with your lights, but the quest won't actually trigger until you leave the store for the first time, and then you have to let some time pass. So I'm sure for a fair few of you, you may have just never really come into the store, and you're forced to play the game, and as such, have never actually seen this quest. But either way, shortly after leaving the store, you'll notice that the vendor icon on the map is going to be replaced with a quest icon, and you return to the store to begin the Bullets quest. As you return, you'll have a few new dialogue choices with the store clerk, and you'll quickly discover that the Cyber Psycho is attacking the store. This Cyber Psycho is going to make quick work of the guards, and you're going to have to deal with the Cyber Psycho yourself, or at least damage them enough and hold them off until Max Tack arrives, which they eventually will, and actually arrive in a very cool fashion, swooping down in this helicopter right on the street. After that, one Max Tack member is really going to take charge here. This Max Tack lieutenant's going to charge in and defend the Cyber Psycho directly, and after the threat is dealt with, the Max Tack have control of the scene. There's a few dialogue options you can pick from. You definitely start to get a bit of a weird and very aggressive vibe from this Max Tack lieutenant.
Apprehending the target alive carries additional risk for bystanders. Rarely done.
Very rarely. Rarely? More like never. How many cycles you saved in your life?
Don't change the subject. You felt him die. Did you like him? That split second when the blood still flows, but his light's gone out.
And to make a long story short, what is revealed to you shortly thereafter is this MaxTac lieutenant was actually a former cyber psycho themselves. After completing the quest and leaving the store clerk will text you about some of the details around this, how they were a cyber psycho but later captured and almost reformed by MaxTac. And this actually isn't just any cyber psycho, but this is Melissa Rory, who was the person to appear in the original 2013 teaser trailer for Cyberpunk 2077. And this is pretty cool. In that teaser trailer, Melissa Rory is still a full-on cyber psycho. MaxTac is actually fighting her there. But now we see at the time of Cyberpunk 2077, like we could actually think she has joined MaxTac and even climbed the ranks to a lieutenant. And some of the dialogue is a reference to this. Comment under Vintage 20-13 and So on the computers here, it basically describes her having relapses of antisocial behaviors even after joining MaxTac, and how she needs very high med doses to keep things in check. And it goes on to mention how issues like this are actually pretty common with members of MaxTac. But in the end, Bullets Quest does provide you with a pretty nice 30% discount at this particular clothing store, which you can throughout the entirety of the game. Speaking of MaxTac responses and recruiting cyber psychos, this happens at the only time this comes into play. One of the quest interactions during the cyber psycho sighting smoke on the water. It's pretty straightforward one. You have a cyber psycho that is on this pier in Pacifica. The quest itself is actually pretty typical, but if you do follow Regina's wishes and you don't finish off the cyber psycho completely, leaving him alive at the end and just incapacitated, when the quest ends, she'll actually text you saying that MaxTac is onto the cyber psycho, and we should probably area as they are on their way. When we come back to this location a few days later, we find the NCPD has taken over the scene and rounded up what's left of the pier inhabitants. The cyber psycho is also now missing from the scene and was described as a soldier in full military gear. So this seems like it is yet another situation where MaxTac intends to recruit this guy, just like what happened with Melissa Rory. So a bit smaller than that Melissa Rory connections, but kind of pretty cool nod to this overall MaxTac lore. One question in Cyberpunk 2077 that is Highwayman quest. There's no map markers or even quest markers for the first part of this quest. To start it, you just literally have to go to this garage and open things up, and that will kick off the quest. But nothing really indicates for you to go here. You just have to stumble upon it. If you do want to do that, this garage is going to be located here in San Domingo. It's actually this fast travel point as well as a couple of vendors. But once inside the garage, you'll discover a broken down bike. Johnny will even come up with comments on having had a similar one himself. From there, the messages on the computer, one of someone named Josie, and we're actually named Josie's garage. They found out some guys in Tiger Claws trashed this fight, and James seems to be caution Josie against messing with Tiger Claws any further. And after exiting the computer, then you look at this picture of what is presumed to be James and Josie together, and you're tasked with now finding James. The only clue being that he's somewhere in Japantown, and we basically have to figure it out based on the background of this picture, as well as you have the optional objective of finding out what happened to Josie in the process. So like I said before, there's no quest markers for this stage. You just have to figure out where James is in the world. He's specifically in Japantown. It's kind of the big clue that is given to you. And if you just want to try this out for yourself, you don't want to have any spoilers, but you click to this timestamp. The quest does have a pretty interesting outcome, and it can be fun to search around Night City yourself. But if you don't care about that, basically where to find James is going to be here in Japantown. You'll just be sitting on a bench near the road here. And James will go on to describe how the Tiger Claws cracked Josie's butt, and in response she stole a Tiger Claw boss fight. But now as a result, something bad might happen to her, which James is entirely her one. Out. Now we actually get some quest markers with one of the last metro stops he was at. No one's there, you can use your scanner to follow some blood droplets, but otherwise you'll just find Josie's body behind a dumpster. It's actually a bit of a plot twist here, because once you read her chart, what you'll discover is Josie was injured during a fight with the Tiger Claws, but she lived, and now she came here and reached out to James for further help, which based on the state we find her in seems to imply that James is actually the one who finished her off in the end. From there you return to James and you confront him about what happened. So you had choose these recruits in your own lives.
All nearby units. We got a situation in Watson.
Roger, dispatch. What else is new? We'll be right there.
Dialogue choices got to take him out immediately, just to cost him during the school room. Feels incredibly bad. Doubtless he still comes to the spot of the taking over and over again each day because of that. Andrew the Shark described the location of his boss's fight and the code to the door in the gate of James and Jose's first day together. You have to find that date inscribed on this bench that he sits on. So from there, head over to all the fast travel points right across the street to find this garage, but in each gate of the hand is brand new bike totally for yourself. And this is fully added to the garage. It's actually a really cool motorcycle, probably one of my favorite of the motorcycles in Cyberpunk. Overall, yeah, that is the outcome to what I would say is one of the darker quests in Cyberpunk 2077 and one of the most hidden ones in the game. Unless you just go up to this garage, this
Where's coming for you? Oh, go, nobody makes it out alive! This will fail to rise to this long quest, but also perhaps a bit more important, it'll lock you out of further progression in command. This stuck outside this camp permanently. Never actually moved to this location yet. I don't know if notice this cool to see, but you know, for some weird outcomes like this, it is actually one of the more boring of the hidden outcomes, as it's really starting to cut out a bunch of dialogue with this character, with very little special dialogue in return. Saul, and in doing so, you actually do have a bit of a secret option during this quest. When getting Saul out of his hand, you maintain stealth throughout the entirety of the mission, including, as you escape with him, you actually escape the car chase that would typically happen in the back. Instead, you can Saul man just get to the van and drive off peacefully. It's one of those ones where everything's a fair out there that just have done this, not realizing it's an option. It's the quest that does encourage you to be stealthy, so I'm sure a ton of people just moving in the car chase that it's about. But there's also a bunch of people that you know you could avoid the car chase if you want to. But if you don't have the riders of the storm, there's actually another point that you have a different option, but it's even a more often overlooked quest that will now fly away. This is the reason one that this quest is only going to be available after completing Riders of the Storm, but before doing the next quest with command. You have to save Saul, but then if you do the next quest with command or start that quest, then this quest will no longer be available. And further, this will automatically pop up on the map. The map marker for this one will only show up if you go to the mobile camp. If you're standing around some side jobs to do, this may never be on the map, even though technically it is available to you. And the quest I'll Fly Away is going to be a funeral for Scorpion. And specifically, you would get putting on a funeral for Scorpion or really a final send-off, the way you want to go out. You and Mitch are going to drive over to the jobs bridge in Badlands. Once there, discover, oh, this is an interesting and rather odd final send-off, where you set it up for Scorpion to fly off the bridge in his car while it's on fire so it blows up. It's honestly a pretty touching moment. You get a lot of one-on-one dialogue with Mitch, and in the end, you'll actually get a couple of unique items. You get this action figure, which is the Scorpion. It's going to be a reference to Mortal Kombat. This is actually a pretty interesting one in that this is an apartment decoration, but one of the few apartment decorations you have to place yourself. So once you have the action figure, you can return to your apartment and sort of people, and you'll have the opportunity to place this down. But beyond this, you will get to like with this figure. And this item is going to rework with Pack 126. It has a higher chance to cause poison and those two will actually stack with the same 50 part. But when he is bleeding and you hit them, it'll have a chance to also cause poison. If you hit them, it'll have a chance to also cause infection. just going to have I've spent way too much time with both command and it, I read this personal favorites, but maybe not watch out! This quest and then realizing this option, maybe this island is not the option choice. So please, want to man has sort of capacity power with others. Open breath capacity. Watch. You will never learn. How many more have to die before she hangs it up? Stop scheming. It's got dirty Tam has no idea what she's doing. The rapids will not let up. And she wants to bring militants down on her ass. Great. Why are you coming here? I thought you'd be on her side. But you look at first into why you're telling him as to which you'll have a bunch of dialogue options, and it really makes the quest pretty simple. After this, you just leave the game, moving go after, and we'll call you absolutely outright to treat her like this. So, yeah. And a couple of days after that, Saul will text you saying how Mitch and Panam have actually went ahead of the rest of the gang to go and establish a new camp and have left Night City completely. He reassures us that we did the right thing and even get this custom car as a reward. It's going to be a Mizutani Shion with a unique paint job. Unfortunately, it's really just a unique paint job. There is actually another version of this car you can get in the game if you just buy it, and it's functionally the same, just has a different paint job. Of course, we have to garage. Whenever you want. That's another one where I feel like the bad option isn't necessarily all that more rewarding. Well, once again, cut out the man from the game, and really all you get is this car, which I guess is a bit more substantial than some of the other alternate outcomes, and I definitely think this car could have been a lot cooler for how big of a decision this is. Although, I just want to make everyone except Saul hate you, I feel like this is a pretty good outcome. One of the darkest quests in Night City overall is the hunt. We're just going to call you an extra help on case. The background here is there's a serial takedowner in Night City. That makes sense. I don't want to say the bad word because YouTube is monetization. But a serial bad guy in Night City did some bad guy things and took down a bunch of people. And he suffered a traumatic brain injury in the process. As we get involved is River's nephew recently went missing, and he suspects that the serial takedowner is actually involved in that, but he can actually question him due to his brain injury. So we're trying to help him with let's use the question to really start getting more about the missing boy, Randy. And it really is just you and the River going out on their own to try to figure out what is going to happen here. And it's just into this realize this is definitely what this makes it all the crazier that you actually have the option to completely abandon this quest and abandon River. When River asks you to spend the night at Randy's trailer, then that's what you're going to do. You can simply say no, and sorry, still need your help. Now, you just find that. Don't doubt it. Hang tough, kids. We will find them. Okay. See you around. And he'll be with you. Thank you. You will help find his nephew. But you just take something to refuse, and the quest will fail. A few days later, River will text you saying how abandoned feels that we just left him there, and he still has to find his nephew one way or another. And a few days after that, Joss will text us saying how River and Randy's bodies were found on a farm somewhere, and how she will never forgive us for this. The farm, of course, is going to be the far weird path with investigating later on in this quest. Alternatively, the doctor is
Get him the fuck off me!
Saying how he's going on without you, and the quest will immediately fail. You return to the farm and find Gregor's body there. He's seen taken out by one of the arms, which is a turret that is set up. Although unfortunately, it's not like you steal his car. Overall, I love that this is an option in the game. I feel like this is one of the darkest and most evil choices you could make in Cyberpunk, given the larger context of this quest, and how it's really just River asking you as a friend what you can find his missing nephew, and you just have the opportunity to be like, nah, I will do something else. Even Johnny tells you how bad of a person you are during this quest, which is really saying something.
Just left.
Well, alternatively, we do have Even the Craft, probably one of the most disliked series of missions in Cyberpunk 2077 overall, but one of these missions does have a bit of a secret interaction. In the second wave of fights, you're able to take down this hilarious clown known as Ozon, who does have the very distinctive feature of a grenade for a nose. So, you're able to fight him in a typical way, and even after this, you have another fight you can do with him, or if you want to make things a bit easier, you use electricity. Taking the close up gorilla arm, then head over to this River gun. North side will be able to get the electrical damage knuckles for your gorilla arms. And from there, when you're in the fight with Ozon, when your electrical knuckles trigger, they'll actually activate his nose grenade that he'll blow up. Definitely pretty hilarious and kind of just a random outcome that can happen for this quest. I bet there's some people who have done it without realizing the electricity was what triggered this in the first place, and there's an alternate way to do this. Instead, you can also get the shock and awe implant. It's actually available at the same river dock on the north side. This will make it so sometimes after taking damage, you'll have to give off an electrical shock. And this too can work to trigger the nose grenade on the Ozon fight if you want to. Definitely a bit of an easier way to resolve this fight if you're constantly struggling with it, though you cannot do the quest with Ozon after the fact for obvious reasons. But you do have the tracking spec for this grenade, which is actually pretty powerful. But you expect it to be tracked at points where it does have an above average blast radius, you can deal a lot of damage with respect into this thing. But then we also do have the incredibly mysterious Girl Dock quest with Angie. So we're at the end of this dock in the downtown area. You're going to find this girl behind here. There's really no context as to what's happening. If you have a stand her and they'll just tell you nothing. Otherwise, you just have a little problem. Off the dock into the river. Old style. You also give you 1,000 pennies as a reward, and then just you got her phone, you go back to the canteen. Nothing. And yeah, that's it. That's the entire secret unmarked quest on this job. And you see this girl and you're like, what is going on here? What do I do with her? And this quest has honestly had a ton of speculation around it. The quest itself is very simple, but once it ends, which ends the game with 1.5, and they've speculated that this quest is actually really larger mysteries in Cyberpunk 2077, whether it be FF065 mysteries, other things that are just undiscovered and unsolved in Night City. Devs have repeatedly stated that there are several unsolved mysteries in this game, and they're just going to just be added one day when the speculation was at an all-time high was odd, and people have really looked into whether or not this means something more. Okay, maybe it's a joke. Maybe somebody that works at CPR literally just lost their key, and this is just a reference to that in the game. But if you are interested in getting up to date with some of the mysteries in Cyberpunk 2077, you have to check out this video I did on the topic. There is a lot of stuff here. It definitely goes pretty deep, and there is even still speculation and research going on around this situation.
Your job is to make sure you transition at power and
much?
outgoes. Fuck you up! first perspective, you can see how the drops of the photos.
Don't fucking colors in my
I told you checkmate. Yeah, so if you open up photo mode and switch between I know come through and not see actually make your character work. And with a little stop motion magic, you get something like this. And here's what happens when you use some AI interpolation. If you go to this location on the map and climb up this little building, you can find this little cubby inside from the top. Not only do you get an amazing view of the good part of Night City, but there's an AV out with dildos strapped to the back of it. I don't know what it is with CD Projekt Red and dildos, but it's probably just some inside joke. Near the Longshore Stacks in Dogtown, you can come across this random woman. She does nothing but follow you around and scream that they found her. I really have no idea what this is supposed to be, if anything at all, but I guess that's the whole point of useless facts. Many people comment on the videos about how they finished the heist at Kentucky Plaza, but things that should be available in the open world are not available. That's because in order to officially start Act 2, you have to meet with Takamura at Tom's Diner. Tom's Diner, which is also the name of the song by Suzanne Vega, was actually the first song ever to be coded into an MTV file. There is a side quest called Point Operated Boy where you come across an AI vending machine who is simply becoming a sentient being. Long story short, he is not, but this vending machine is actually voiced by Brian Chard, who plays Connor from Detroit Become Human, which is a butterfly effect movie game like Until Dawn where the AI servants become sentient beings. Dazed and Confused is a side quest where you rescue a guy who can see that people start and you have to hire if you get the ending where you convince the girl that he's Anne's sister, they will both start a BDC. The True Fans newsletter. Assuming you don't unsubscribe, she will eventually share that she was shocked to find out that it's illegal in what done in Night City? I guess Night City is immune to obscure laws that don't really make any sense. If you go to the Corpo Studios in Westbrook where you film Ashley Joshua, you can occasionally find two pieces arguing over how one of the workers stole the studio equipment for a personal use. But her co-worker found out and is currently fighting her. If you listen to their conversation, you find out that she actually killed a third shopping with a child. My natural instinct was to kill her with the power of the black woman. But you'll notice that her co-worker doesn't even flinch, showing that she had no remorse and didn't mind that you just melted her soul. That's pretty base. Cyberpunk 2077 takes place in the year 2077, if you don't know. But if I had a nickel for every time a single-player dystopian RPG took place in the year 2077, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. One of my favorite RPGs, not counting Cyberpunk, is Fallout 4, which doesn't actually take place during the year 2077, but in the Fallout universe, the bombs drop during the year 2077, and you get to play a brief prologue that takes place when the bombs drop. I'm not saying I'm a superstitious fellow, but come 2077, we better burn some sage, just in case. On the west side of Night City, you can find a pier, which is the location of one of the player's races. Down on the dock at the end, you can find a girl crying. If you jump down into the water, you can pick up a lost key, and go back to the girl and give it to her. And it takes her about 15 seconds to say thanks for whatever reason. Rude. But that's about it. No reference, no reward, just a random NPC who has a lost key to something. Probably another one of CD Projekt Red's inside jokes. If you go to the Arasaka Industrial Park and take control of the security cameras, scrolling through them you can see a camera number and the name of the location at the bottom left. But one of the cameras says camera 69, hee hee hee. So it seems even Arasaka has a sense of humor. Take that, you liberals. Body Heat Radio is one of the better radio stations in the game that plays some hit songs like Delicate Weapon, Major Crimes, and some of that Us Cracks music. If you would even call it that. Well, the radio station's frequency is actually 98.7, which is considered the normal body heat temperature. Feel free to take your temperature and see for yourself. That's 37 degrees for you tea-sipping, redcoat-wearing, tax-guzzling choons. The iconic Blade Runner film seems to be a very big inspiration for Cyberpunk 2077. In fact, you can find Roy Batty, the main antagonist of the film, on a rooftop in the rain holding a bird. You can also find his niche at the Night City Columbarium along with his final line from the movie. However, this quote is actually wrong. Roy Batty does not say all these moments will be lost in time like tears in the rain, but rather he says all those moments will be lost in time like tears in the rain. Probably just a minor translation error though. But during that scene just before that final line, Roy Batty also says attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion, which is the codename for the Cyberpunk sequel game. In Santo Domingo, you can find a massive Ferris wheel, and behind one of the carriages, you can find a loot box with a unique outfit in it. This outfit is nothing special, but wearing this outfit will actually automatically change your default pose when you enter photo mode, as opposed to the original pose where you look like you're about to tell your mom at 3 a.m. that you just threw up. The quest where you meet with Hanako is the point of no return, and because of that, most players make her wait weeks or even months. I mean, she better be perfect at that piano by now. But if you choose the Corpo life path, you can actually bow to Hanako, and this will quite literally cause Johnny. There is a quest line where you meet with a monk known as the Zen Master, and he will give you a meditation BD and guide you through the meditation, only to completely vanish once you finish the BD. However, each BD covers a different element, starting with the earth element, then moving to water, then the fire elements, and finally the air elements, which are the same four elements in Avatar: The Last Airbender. This may seem like just a coincidence. After all, the universe of The Last Airbender is inspired from Asian culture, but this does go a lot deeper. The Avatar in The Last Airbender is required to reach a state of total zen, and is able to communicate with the past Avatar spirits by entering meditation, which is referenced through the meditation meeting. The Zen Master even disappears in the universe, and the locals think that he was never there to begin with, as if only you could see him. Just like how only the Avatar can see the past Avatars. The dollar amounts you can give the Zen Master during the quest line are part of the Fibonacci sequence, which is the mathematical sequence that is used to visualize the Avatar cycle in The Last Airbender. The Zen Master is also a monk that loosely resembles Avatar Aang himself. I've always thought this quest line was a little odd. It always felt pointless, like it didn't need to exist. Or maybe that there was just something there that I was missing. Now I know that I was missing a very elaborate Easter egg. Or maybe it just means that there was a coincidence. So I think that there's various situations that I've been wrong to the world, but still, we are going to focus on the
Hey, he's trying to get me killed!
Stereotype and character Polish descent. It's simply saying that Jay lives or Jack, which pretty much makes the version of writing their initials instead of a heart, which is something that we used to do way back when I was a kid. Obscure and obscure places to avoid getting in trouble, like under the bleachers, or in the case of Cyberpunk, out of bounds of the United States spaceport. This next scene is actually a bit tricky. Visiting Tom's Diner is required in order to get full access to the open world besides that Kentucky Plaza, but you can actually do some creative parkour to get access to the rooftop, where you can find a telescope. Looking through the telescope and making your way up the building on the left, you can see the red bird, which is Project Red's logo. And after looking at it for a few seconds, a picture of the developers at one of their employee events will pop up on the screen. Trauma Team may seem like just another beauty corp that doesn't care about anything or anyone other than money, but that isn't actually true. Well, at least when it comes to the members of Trauma Team. Now for this, you'll want to make your way down to this location along the unfinished highway. The first time you come through here, you will see a massive shootout between multiple Trauma Team units and the Tiger Claws. Trauma Team is trying to rescue their clients, but the Claws are making it very difficult. This is also the reason why normal DPTs are obsolete in this universe. You can actually help Trauma Team beat off the Claws, or you can sit back and let the client die. Most people who do this end up in a three-way shootout between both rescue parties, but if you are vigilant enough and make sure not to shoot any of the trauma team members, they will actually never attack you or turn on you, and after the clause have been dealt with, they will resume their normal trauma team duties. However, if you need seconds to trauma, you will receive a text from Carolina, who is one of the trauma team members who was at the highway with you. She will offer her thanks for helping her team and her clients, and praise you for your humanity by saying that you give them optimism and hope for the future of Night City and its city. Since Trauma Team is a paramilitary group that actually believes in protecting those who can't protect themselves, of course you have to pay for their service because nothing is free. Let's be real here. Employees have to do their jobs, and these people are not contractually forbidden from sending you a thank you letter. Regardless, receiving a thanks from Trauma Team really makes you feel great about performing a good deed. And as soldiers, Trauma Team no doubt appreciates what you've done. But this isn't the only secret you can find while aimlessly driving around Night City. When driving around,